everyone! So I am back with Project PanPorn. This is a project I started a couple of years ago with the intention of hitting pan or trying to hit pan on as many eyeshadows as possible. It's since morphed a few times here and there, and I've used it more like 1 month, 1 palette or some other projects, and I know there's been sort of spin-offs of that project since. It's very exciting to see a lot of other sort of panning related content coming from these sort of old ideas. It's really interesting to see, and because of the situation that everyone is dealing with right now, I haven't been really motivated to put a whole lot of makeup on my face. I have a lot of makeup and I want to use it up, and I couldn't really figure out a way to kind of motivate myself to do so, because I'd put makeup on for filming, I'd put makeup on like 1 or 2 times I may leave the house in a week, and I needed some inspiration, which is why I thought that I might try some panning projects again. This may sound surprising to some people who have been with my channel for a while, because I really started hard with the panning content, went really extreme with panning for a long time, and then sort of stopped doing it almost entirely, but still doing sort of variations of the same sort of project. I've been on a no-buy for the last 2 years, so I don't have a whole lot of new makeup. I do have old stuff that I want to use up. So I had mentioned in my last video that I was thinking about panning the Modern Renaissance palette, and I read everybody's comments. There were quite a few pros. There were also cons, which I was expecting. The interesting thing to me was the people who said, no, I don't want to watch it, in general were like, pan something else instead though. Like, it wasn't really, I don't want to see panning content. There was maybe a handful of people that really this isn't their thing, but a lot of people were like, don't do it, but do this instead. And something like a Natasha Denona eyeshadow palette inspires me, but not to pan it, and I don't want to use up those kind of shadows. Those are the newest things in my collection as well. I just want to have fun with it, but I have older things. So I am going to slowly attempt to pan the Modern Renaissance palette. Spoiler alert, I'm not really doing an official intro video for that palette, but I will be talking about it because it pairs with some of the other things I will be doing, such as this project. And if you clicked on this video, you know it's Project PanPorn with the Editorial Brights palette from Viseart. And if you're thinking, how the heck is that going to work? You know, this is a very bright, colorful palette, and this is very neutral, but they do pair really well together. I have used a few combinations of them recently. I did use this column here with the blues and the green, paired with Primavera, the gold shade. That's what's on my face right now, with Road Stripe from Urban Decay, because that's kind of my go-to for highlighting, especially with bright looks. It's just something fun, but I won't just stick with that. So I thought that I would pair these two together. So this is the Project PanPorn. So we will have pan that palette, so for those of you who are watching this, you won't be surprised when you see a pan that palette update from me, which is not something I thought that I would do, at least not for a while, considering how frequently I had done it. But this Project PanPorn. So 12 shadows. I'm not just going to use shadows here and there. I actually want to focus on specific shadows for a while and see what I can pair with them the most, and try to get some usage out of it, because this is one of my favorite things that I own, but it doesn't have a lot of usage on it, except for maybe this shadow, which is my favorite shade. But really, I mean, you can tell that it's used, but it's barely used, because it's such a pigmented palette and I haven't used it that much, you know, and I definitely slacked off from the colorful things. So this feels like, what better time than now than to just slap colorful things on my face. I did put lashes, or tried to put lashes on. I've been having the hardest time. I think my lash glue is old, and I probably need new lash glue. Getting like the inner corner to stick these days just will not do it. I've been struggling, but I wanted to do very light face makeup, because I feel like I probably will do very light, minimal to potentially even zero face makeup, with the exception of maybe something like highlighter or blush, which you don't really need like a foundation for. I just concealed my face, and then I contoured, blushed, and did the highlight thing just for the sake of the camera, which I'm sure I'm probably gonna look pretty tired, because I skipped color corrector, because I just did all my eyeshadow first and then just concealed a little bit. But I feel like that's gonna be more like my general style. It's just gonna be like kind of dramatic eye things and a little of everything else. I probably won't be doing the lashes except for filming, because I just enjoy them, they're fun. But yeah, so I thought that I would play around with this. And I decided, because I love choosing things randomly. It is one of my absolute favorite things. I've done a lot of Project Pan roulettes. My hashtag 365 days of samples project was stuff chosen randomly. I just love that random aspect, getting a little bit of surprise, but it's still fairly contained because, you know, I know what the things are going to be. So I am going to use a random number generator, and I'm going to pick 2 colorful shadows, and those are the things I'm going to be playing with. When I do these projects, I never set exact time frames for it. My rules, or general rules, I say, like air quotes, is if I hit pan on something or if I get bored of it and I stop using it. So an update could happen in 2 to 3 weeks, an update could happen in 2 months. I will definitely try to update at least once a month, but it will depend on how much I use the palette and how much I want to rotate around. Plus, there's a 3rd eyeshadow project that I'm doing. I know it sounds crazy, but I have a specific order or method of things that I'm doing, the things I want to combine and play with, and I feel like it gives me enough versatility that I will be able to play with everything sort of equally. It just means that progress probably won't be dramatic as if I was just doing one project. So I have a random number generator. This looks like a fun one. I don't know how much of the glare you're going to see on the screen. I'm going to try, because you can apparently shake it and it will generate the number, which I feel is not a lot more fun than me just like looking down and you just kind of having to take my word for it. So minimum is 1. Maximum is 12. So my number 1 shade is the white shade, and I always kind of snake around. So we have 1 through 4, 5 through 8, etc. So, all right, let's do it. We are going to shake and pray. It's not gonna work. Okay. Oh, 41. Minimum is 1 and maximum is 12. Okay, clearly I didn't do that. Wait, let's just try and randomize it once and see if that sticks, and then. Apparently, it wants me to pick an eyeshadow 41, which, you know, isn't in this palette. So let's just hit randomize and hope for the best. Okay, so that one worked. That time I got 7. I don't know why I could not shake to randomize. That's really disappointing. I tried that earlier and it worked. But anyway, 7 is the yellow shade. Probably the shadow I wanted the least, to be honest. I have nothing against yellow eyeshadow. I just kind of feel like this is the one that might struggle the most with. It'll depend what sort of things I gather from the other project I'm doing as well. Because like a yellow with the modern renaissance, well, it could be fun actually, it could be a challenge, who knows. So it's just it's exactly what it looks like. I don't find the Viseart shadows swatch very well. I know that's always an excuse people give when something like seems to perform terribly and you're like, it doesn't swatch very well, but it performs very well in the eye. But that seems to be very accurate for Viseart eyeshadows. I know these swatches will probably end up being pretty disappointing, but I mean, it's a yellow eyeshadow. I've used this quite a bit and that's all I can say about that one. We'll see if it randomizes. It's gonna pick 41 again. 93, you're not helping. Okay, I thought this was gonna actually work very well for me, but it's not. So let's pick another one. 1, okay, 1 is the white. It's gonna make 2 shadows, and I got the white and I got the yellow shade, so that's exciting, said no one. So I got a white and a yellow, and you know what? We're gonna stick with it. I don't really know what kind of things are gonna end up happening with a white and a yellow. That's the luck of these things sometimes, or the non-luck. I don't know what 41 and 93 would have translated into, but I gotta figure that out again. I mean, my test run was great. Like I tried that app out and I was like shaking it and practicing and I was like, this is so much better than the other way, and it just didn't end up being better, but you know. Anyway, hopefully it'll work better next time. So 1 and 7, the white and the yellow. The white is gonna be pretty easy to use. To be honest, the white is mostly a shade that I'd use for mixing things. So like you can use the white shade with the other shadows in this palette and create something a little bit more pastel, very on trend for right now. The yellow is very bright and springy, which I really appreciate. So I'm kind of hoping I pull a couple more gold shades, or even like some kind of sparkly blue, but I'm thinking like immediately the white is probably going to end up being used more as a highlighter for me. I can see just doing like a stark white sort of highlight to like bring life to things instead of using rose stripe all the time. But I think my Frankenshadow Realgar shade, oh, for those of you who may be confused also, by the way, I'm going to have to keep saying this, I know, because there's going to be somebody who's going to ask about this. I did some Frankenshadows and the video is up on my channel if you're interested, where I took these 4 shadows on the side of the palette and created new things from them. And I will also say I did my, and I looked just the other day with Warm Taupe and Cypress Umber and a little bit of Golden Ochre, and it was so easy. And I know a lot of people hate this term for some kinds of makeup, but it did have that little bit of a grungy effect. It's just like a little bit on that sort of reddish warm side, and it was so much fun, and I just like the simplicity of it. But I think like a yellow shade paired with Realgar, because Realgar is that orange with the gold in it, so I think the yellow would help bring up even more of the gold tones in that. Plus also using the yellow with Primavera would again amplify the gold. So very simple things. Primavera is not long for this world, I will say. If I actually use it consistently, there's really very little left in that. So I think the yellow will work very well for that way, and I'll just try and see what I can do with the white. I'm even thinking maybe if I could mix it with Buon Fresco a little bit and lighten up Buon Fresco, that could even work fairly well as a blush. Buon Fresco on its own works as a blush, but just I'm getting some ideas here, just from a simple yellow and a white. So anyway, the other project, which involves simple shadows, will be up very soon. Anyway, let me know if you have any ideas, suggestions for videos you would like to see using the Viseart palette. Now, when I do videos, I won't necessarily stick to just the things I'm using. So that means if I did like a palette bingo with this palette, I wouldn't just stick with the 2 shades I had drawn. I would do a full random palette bingo with this palette. So if there's anything you would like to see with this palette at all, let me know what kind of content you'd be interested in seeing to go alongside something like a Pan That palette in a Project PanPorn. Let me know what interests you and what kind of stuff you would enjoy watching, and I'm just trying to kind of have a little bit more fun. I have to say I've been very excited about this, almost too excited. Like, it's been all in my head since I kind of started getting those ideas, and thank you guys so much for all of your feedback on my, you know, should I pan it, should I not video, because that was very helpful for me as well. Even the people who weren't so keen on it kind of gave me some inspiration for other things as well. So I'm feeling very excited to go back and dig into some of the content I used to do before. Some people have seemed to read that I wasn't very excited for it, but I have to say, I am saying no matter what you think is happening here, I am actually very, very excited for this, and I am really looking forward to doing this stuff again, and it's really motivating me right now to kind of keep going with filming stuff and putting makeup on and using stuff up, and it just feels like the right thing to do. Now, I'm also not saying this is going to continue forever. I don't know how long the situation that we are in is going to be happening, but you know, when things kind of return to normal or whatever, then I might ease back on the projects again. But we'll see. I'm not gonna make any promises, and there's nothing I can say about the future right now. So anyway, that is everything for my Project PanPorn re-intro. Said I'm very excited, and I hope you are excited too. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you are having a wonderful day or night wherever you are, and I hope we get a chance to chat soon. Bye for now.